In fact, we have WDRB's Darby Bean. She has been following this for days now, along with the rest of us. She's bringing us a positive update from the hospital and sharing with us how those medical professionals have been working so hard to save lives.
Yeah, UofL Health says that 9 patients came here Monday after the shooting. Unfortunately, one of those passed away that night. But we do have an update, Scott. You just mentioned a moment ago. We've learned just within the last few minutes, actually, that a 6th person has now been able to go home. We just got that update. So they've been released from the hospital. That means 2 other people are still in the hospital, including Officer Nick Wilt, who was shot at the scene. He's the only one still in critical condition. UofL Hospital is the region's only Level 1 trauma center for adults. This is where patients started arriving Monday morning.
Our whole job is to get them through this system as quickly as possible to stop the bleeding. And that is, without a doubt, the thing that saves people's lives, is how quickly you can stop the bleeding after something like this happens.
The trauma center trains and prepares for all types of disasters. But that doesn't mean a few days later, stepping back, this is any easier to process.
The process of healing after this has probably not even begun, and it'll be a long time for our city, for our community, and for our hospital to be able to deal with what happened on Monday.
The community is showing up outside Old National Bank, where several people never made it home. Louisville has created a memorial, leaving flowers, letters, and signing hearts connected to crosses in honor of each of the victims.
The fact that after this incident, only one person lost their life after they made it to the hospital is a miracle.
UofL Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jason Smith says he cared for 3 of the patients and says he's now heard from medical colleagues across the country after making unscripted remarks Tuesday, speaking to the impact of gun violence.
The events surrounding this made this obviously much more difficult. But to be honest with you, we barely had to adjust our operating room schedule to be able to do this.
He admits he doesn't have the answers, but he wants to see change, saying people need to know what's happening in trauma centers and emergency departments across the country.
We are not special in the fact that gun violence is impacting our cities. It is simply getting to the point where this is becoming untenable with the healthcare system and the amount of resources and people that are being affected by this. So it's not Louisville, it's everywhere right now.
Dr. Smith says if you want to help, sign up to donate blood. And I do want to share a story from earlier today. Before we go back to the desk, we were out at that memorial site that's growing outside the bank. There was a young woman who walked up. She had on a Jimmy John's visor and shirt, and she said that she did not know any of the victims personally, but she worked at that Jimmy John's right down the street and said that she dropped off lunch there almost on a daily basis and is certain at some point she probably brought lunch to one of those victims. So she brought flowers, and she stopped at every single one of those crosses with the hearts on them that you all said have now been moved to the site where that vigil will be tonight. And she wanted to write a message on each and every one of those and just take a moment to even recognize these people as strangers that she did not personally know, but still felt like being in the same city had a connection with them. So I know that this is something that has touched so many lives and that we will continue to cover tonight at that vigil.
Yeah, no doubt, Darby, the city of Louisville is hurting right now and trying to heal as best it can.